Minus 60 seconds.
Best recorders, high speed. Check all batteries.
Minus 50. Armed.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Your go
4,
for APU shutdown on time.
2, 1, liftoff.
Go at throttle up.
Just go at throttle up.
Still on its way to orbit after a successful ascent up through main engine cutoff.
Houston, 20 seconds to LOS TDRIS.
Contact, nice to be in orbit.
This is Escape Pod, part of the Outbreak Podcasting Network. Visit our website at outbreakpodcast.com. And now here's your hosts, Tony Brown and David Anthony.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Escape Pod. I'm David.
I'm not telling you my name because the intro says it.
You're Tony.
So
fine.
That girl said.
Hey, you know what? Who we got with us?
Hey, you know who she said first?
I said you first because you the man.
Moving
this is
up
the
in the
Tony
world.
Brown show, really. But we had to call it Escape Pod because of, there's some kind of copyright thing. I don't know. Hi, Tony.
Hi. The narrator of the neck breakers in the house.
He is,
Scott
isn't he?
Sexton.
Scott Sexton. Back again. Buddy, what's going on?
Not much, guys. Glad to be back. First time I've been back in the new studio. I tell you what, the only thing that hasn't changed is that long-ass flight of stairs to get down here. But
That's right.
Other than that, man, it looks great in here. You guys have an amazing setup. As always, truly professional.
Thank you.
Wouldn't expect anything less.
Oh, shucks.
Thanks, man. You are awesome. But tell you what, we had to have you back because in the realm of wrestling, independent wrestling, you are blowing up all over the place. Am I right?
Yeah, and I appreciate that. It's kind of funny.
Everywhere lately.
If you go back to the last podcast, I was talking about how much I hate this stuff and how I need to get out, and then all of a sudden the wrestling bug struck again, and
I think there was a retirement match after that podcast too.
Kayfabe.
And then maybe a return match, and then
Man, 2017 just lit up. I got a call probably in November of 2016 about a company in Bowling Green asking if I'd be interested in joining their promotion when they started up in January, and I knew the promoter very well. Had a lot of run-ins with him in prior past, and thought, sure, I'll be able to do a show here and there and get back into it. Plus, it would give me an excuse to really diet and hit the gym hard and try to get myself into shape. And January came around, and you guys were there. Thank you guys for coming back to and actually filming the return of Scott Sexton.
Hey, we support, man.
Always, and it's, man, I love you guys for that and for every opportunity that I've ever had. Since the inception of this podcast, and even before then with our friendship, you guys have always been great. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
But 2017 has been the most lucrative, the most enjoyable, and by far the busiest year of my wrestling longevity.
Man, it really has been awesome. I mean, because you started off with that first company coming back, and what's the name of the company?
United Pro Wrestling in Bowling Green.
In Bowling Green, and I will tell you, we went and we were impressed with their setup. I mean, it's not huge, large scale, but it's independent. But for independent, they look pretty professional.
It is a very professional ran company. The thing I like about the promoter is he picks a few different wrestlers from other promotions within the area and promotes them on his show. He has a great group of talented guys from all the promotions, and he's fun to work for. And the good thing is, when you're stepping in there with true professionals, and your risk of getting injured is minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was super awesome that he was pulling people from all the other promotions that I've been to. So I was like, holy shit, I recognize all these dudes from elsewhere. This wound up being cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Which is great for everyone, because not only do you get to work people you're not accustomed to work, but you can also make contacts and start trying to, sell yourself as if you were a product, and try to sell yourself to other promoters and try to get bookings. So it's paid off for me. I'm grateful that he sent me that message back into 2016.
So do you like that better than the war between promotions that used to happen a lot? Probably still happen a lot, I guess.
I do. Man, and I've said negative things about other companies around this area, but at the end of the day, I've matured a lot in regards to wrestling, and there's no room for that. If we to me, if you look so unprofessional if you're dogging another company, and I've been guilty of it before, and it's unprofessional. And at the end of the day, as long as the fans are happy and the fans are coming to their show on a weekend they have it, and the show that we may have a different weekend, as long as the fans leave satisfied both times, there shouldn't be any bullcrap between the promotions. So
I mean, it's a win-win.
Exactly, it's a win-win for everybody. The boys stay happy, the fans stay happy, promoters stay happy, and I stay happy. So
now there's just a constant flow of wrestling all the time back in Owensboro now. It seems like almost every weekend there's a show now.
There is. Unfortunately, this coming weekend, or next weekend, I guess the 24th, we do have a little conflict to schedule. We do have 2 promotions once again running. Hopefully they can get everything ironed out and there won't be any hurt feelings or anything like that. But
right.
The thing is both shows between, and I'll just name the promotions. The other promotion I currently work for full time is Big B Pro Wrestling, and the other promotion would be World Wrestling Alliance. They're 2 separate products.
Mm-hmm.
Your World Wrestling Alliance is going to have your newer version of professional wrestling. It's going to have a little bit of high flying, a little bit of hardcore, a little more hard hitting, whereas Big B is a little more old school. Obviously we have guys in there who can go, myself included, but there's a lot of older generation wrestlers who still come through there, and they, it's the old school style, which is still great. The Channel 7 style is what we call it. That's what I grew up on, so I enjoy it, and it's neat. The last time that both companies ran in the same place, there were still over 100 people at each show, which is
nice
for a small town like this. That's huge.
I think it's awesome that Big B is keeping the older guys around, because it's letting the younger generation of kids get that history lesson.
I
get
could
to
not
hear
agree
those
anymore.
stories of these guys that have been wrestling since late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah,
and still out there running around.
They brought in like a guy from Men on a Mission, Sir Mo. They brought in Doug Gilbert, Brian Christopher. They just had Pat Tanaka there last week from the Orient Express. It's cool to, especially with everyone having the WWE network now. You may not know who Pat Tanaka is. You see him on a poster, you Google him, you're like, man, this guy used to be a superstar.
Hell yeah.
And it's that the network helps independent promotions by far. I don't think anyone's really ever hit on that, but it's such an easy access and an easy tool to find history for these guys you see on posters that have been there and made money.
And they WWE seems to be, I guess, taking more of a liking to indie style wrestlers now too. I think they're finally realizing not everybody's got to be as big as Triple H nowadays.
Yeah, Triple H really, with the inception of NXT, when he kicked that off the ground, he's brought in, all the top independent wrestlers that you see. That's where Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Neville, all these guys came from doing shows similar to the ones that I do on a weekly basis. So, it's kind of cool to see that what we're doing isn't for nothing, so to speak. There's still a chance now,
sure,
that you can be noticed on any level, not just because you're 7 foot tall and 300 pounds. It gives a more serious approach to independent wrestling, and I think that's why a lot of people are trying to take it a little more serious now, because you, as an independent wrestler, you're a self-contractor, and you got to market yourself, because you never know who's going to be watching, especially like as Tony just hit on, because nowadays WWE does get a majority of their talent from the indies.
Yep, for real. And it's cool though, because I've always loved indie wrestling, probably even more than the bigger companies, I guess, because it was so much more personal to me. Because growing up, I got a chance to, I could talk to Scott Sexton. There was never a chance that I could just walk up to Hogan,
He said growing up, and he's like 20 years older than me.
No, he's not that old.
Oh, man, he's old. I got nothing. I'm done with this guy now.
All right, everyone's so great.
Well, anyway, thanks for coming by. Just kidding. Now, man, so you've got several different promotions, or different companies you've been working for, and I noticed that on one of them they have a champion. And which one has the champion that we might know?
The champion that
sucks the most.
Oh, Al Snow?
Is it Al Snow?
Al Snow, yeah.
Oh.
Al Snow is the UCW champ. Is that what you're referencing?
Could be.
Yeah. He's probably, out of all the promotions around here, he's probably the second best heavyweight champion. There's another individual that won the Moondog Memorial Battle Royal.
Oh,
fairly.
Fairly.
It is on YouTube. Ignore the fact that I may or may not have went over the top rope. The referees weren't looking. Came back in.
Didn't see it. Didn't happen.
Absolutely. Try to tell my wife that, and she does not agree. Came over the top rope, and supposedly, I guess on podcast terms, allegedly went over the top rope, and came back in and won the Big B title. So, yeah, I would rank Al Snow, right below me as far as the top heavyweight champions in this area.
And since that UCW belt did used to be yours, are you on the path of taking it back?
I will say this: UCW is going to return to the Owensboro Sports Center on September 16th.
Yep. And
I'm not in a title match. Title match has already been announced between Al Snow and Chase Stevens, but I can't speak on it yet because it's not 100% official. But I do have a pretty big opponent who is currently active in one of the big promotions right now for that night. So very excited about that.
Very cool. Very cool. So, I mean, but you've held the belt, so that's pretty cool.
Held the belt there and currently hold the belt at Big B Pro Wrestling. Have successfully defended my title numerous times. And, that's what happens when you're the champ. You win. So,
did you have a stand-in defending your belt?
I did.
Did I see that correctly?
Absolutely. My best friend, Mike Micus, good buddy of mine. We've had a couple of run-ins in the in the Big B. He may or may not have been one of the guys who I eliminated to win my title. He was just there. Sorry, guilty by association, right?
That's right.
But he did defend my title against 5 top-tier Orient athletes last Saturday night at Dugan Best. I'm looking forward to June 24th whenever he will hopefully hand my title back. And, we've text corresponded. He sent me pictures of the belt. He currently has it since he did defend it while I was out on an all-expense paid by the promoter vacation.
Nice.
So
you got to take care of their talent.
Well, he kind of owed me. I mean, I've been carrying his company and carrying his belt for so long. It's, when you put asses in the seat, he needs to put my ass on a beach. You know what I'm saying? So,
I hear you. I hear you talking.
He could have sprung for some different shorts, though, man. I mean, he did kind of do
I don't know what you're talking about. Those shorts and that sweet Scarlet and Graves tank top looked magnificent.
The tank top, yes. The shorts, maybe not so much.
You know what those shorts are actually called when I picked them up? True story. They're called the panty droppers.
Well, there
because you got to put your panties down to get the shorts on.
Oh man, so much love. I think somebody's gonna get pile driven in here in the studio. Oh,
I ain't
goodness.
Scared. I'm way over here.
I ain't scared. You ain't scared.
I'm way over here.
It's true, you are. In this big studio with massive counter and desk.
That's right.
Soft.
Hey, down here, so far down, no one will ever find you.
I know it.
And
speaking of a pile driver, I took a pretty vicious pile driver in April.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sent. It's one of the pictures I actually
That's
sent.
what the picture was. Okay.
Yeah. I wrestled a gentleman named Chase Owens from the Bullet Club in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Cool.
And came up on the short end of the stick that night. My neck still feels the effect of it, but he dropped me on my head. All the years I've been doing this, believe it or not, is the first time I've ever taken a pile driver. So I've been able to escape them before. Unfortunately, he caught me off guard this time, dropped me on my neck, and picked up the win. It is announced he's wrestling Mike Micus on September 16th, so Micus will get my win back for me, I'm sure, because that's what best friends do for each other. We have each other's back.
Aw.
Or he might just be like, look what I could do that you couldn't do.
And then I would say, really, because I have the belt and you don't.
Oh, there you go. I think we're gonna give it.
Technically, you don't. I mean, your dude's got
tomato,
your belt,
tomato. He's keeping it nice and warm for me. He's like a he's like a nice little housewife. He makes sure stuff's done when I'm out at home.
Wow. Boy, I hope he doesn't hear this podcast anytime soon.
I hope he does.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. You're like, yeah, full to the fire.
Don't be stirring the pot. Don't be stirring the pot. Micus knows his role as my best friend to kind of let me, he can stand back in the shadow, but let me be the superstar.
Well, we did bring Scott Sexton on, so there you go. That's what you get. Attitude in tow. I love it. I love it.
So I gotta ask. I was always a fan of your earlier finisher, and then you've changed it up to an even more awesome finisher. How'd you figure that out?
Man, the one thing I take pride in, the one thing I wanted to take pride in when I came back was I wanted to be different. I didn't want to be your standalone little run-of-the-mill independent worker. I wanted to stand out. And my finisher is something I've never seen. It's a variation of a couple of moves, but I've never seen it put together in a way that I've put it together, and I'm very proud of it. But there's a guy in New Japan. He's actually their heavyweight champion. His name's Okada, and he does a move called the Rainmaker, I believe, or Bringer of Rain. I don't know the exact term. Unfortunately, I'm not subscribed to New Japan World, but if anyone listens to this and wants to pay $9.99 and give me their password, I would greatly appreciate it. Kidding. I'll get it eventually. I just got to talk the wife into it. But no, he does this move where he grabs them and spins them around and then gives them a vicious clothesline. And when I started using the Narrator, the Neckbreaker moniker, I decided that I was going to find a unique way to hit a neckbreaker. And I saw that and thought, why not try to combine the two? And it's worked out well. It's very devastating, and it's led me to a Big B title. It's led me to an undefeated streak in United Pro Wrestling. It's led me to wins at random shows that promoters like to pay me a lot of money to go to, and I kind of like going to. And it's got my name out there, but I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I popped big as shit the first time I saw it in Bowling Green. I was like, oh, that's vicious.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. It took man, I tell you what, I wanted to be different, and this is 2017 when I decided to come back. I told myself, treat it like it's your job, and I have, and it's tough because I do have a real job, but it is tough to make the time, but invest in gear. Invest in the tanning bed. Invest in, because I'm a little white boy. Invest in.
It's free if you go outside. That big glowing thing in the sky, it'll get you tanned up too.
Way too humid out there. I'm too prissy. I want the fan blowing and music in my ears.
It's delicate. You got to treat him.
Come on now, hey,
professional.
Top talent here, guys.
I forgot.
But I treat it like a business, and I owe that to Cody Rhodes, because he did that when he left WWE, and it showed that you can actually market yourself as a superstar on the independent brand, and I try to do the same. So for the majority of my shows, I still dress up now and wear dress pants, socks, shoes, tie, dress shirt. A lot of times I will just if it's local or if it's a show I haven't been to before, I'll wear my Scarlet and Graves apparel, proud sponsor of Superb Scott Sexton. Or a Karma Fitness Water, they're another sponsor of Scott Sexton. I'll wear some of their swag and some of their apparel to get those two great products out as well.
Fantastic. So how did you hook up with those guys with the product?
Karma came first. I went to the store and saw that they had this. It's called Karma Fitness Water. I decided to try it, and man, I fell in love immediately. And just kind of joking around, sent them a tweet on Twitter and says, love your product, we should do business. And they were very quick to respond and sent me a free case and some T-shirts, and we still communicate, off and on
That's
to
awesome.
this day. So very cool. Scarlet and Graves is actually ran by Tracy Ilana. I'm going to butcher her last name, but she's a very sweet woman. And I did the same thing. I messaged a couple of shirt companies I'd seen, and it's ran by her and another outstanding independent wrestler, Dave Chris.
Cool.
And I messaged them, and they were quick to say, let's talk business. And we talked, and they offer a different tiers of sponsorship. And I'd sent over some promo pictures and stuff like that, and she got back with me and sent my swag to me. And man, I'm honored. I'm honored to be on the team. If you look at some of their other, you can check it out at scarletandgraves.com. Some of their other sponsored professional athletes. They have a long list of top independent guys and guys who have actually made it. So very honored to be a part and have my name out there.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. And like I said, we'll put their websites on our show notes so that they'll get a little more sponsorship notification there for as well too.
Appreciate that.
No problem,
that.
man.
I think we might have to throw an Escape Pod T-shirt on you too, man.
I'd actually reached out to Dave about that. Told him I would love to have an Escape Pod shirt. You guys have always had my back. I'll definitely wear it to a show, and I've push your guys' product as well. I'll push stuff I believe in. I'm not the kind of person who will wear a shirt of something I don't believe in. So I believe in Scarlet and Graves. I think they have a sweet line of apparel. You were complimenting it before the show. The fitness water is magnificent, and you guys have a hell of a podcast. So
well, thank you, appreciate that. And I got a T-shirt order for you. Don't worry.
Look forward to it.
Well, hopefully the Karma Fitness Water works better than the Smart Water, because I'm not any fucking smarter, and I've been drinking that shit forever.
To their defense, man, they had a bumpy road ahead.
You're lucky I don't show up at the local wrestling school and learn how to wrestle.
There is a local wrestling school. I'm glad you touched base on that.
Look at that segue.
Look
How
at
about that shit?
Wow.
Somebody's been doing his homework. Wow.
Tony Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Tony Brown.
and they said 50-year-olds get dementia. Damn. Oh.
Hey.
Yeah, there's a real 50-year-old in here.
Hey. Ow.
See how long it took him to get that? He's already forgot.
What? Hey, he's talking about it again. All right, so let's talk about the school.
Yes, Big B Pro Wrestling has a wrestling school where I'm currently one of the trainers.
Nice.
We have about 5 to 6 students right now. We've had as much as 10, and it's funny. It's the same song and dance every time I've been involved in wrestling school. You'll have people show up, think it's easy, get in the ring. You'll give them a little workout, and they're like, "Oh man, I can't wait to come back," and then you never hear from them again. So we call those people vaginas, because they're soft and moist and really, they're only good for one thing, and that was their money in that case. So.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No. That's just
another disclaimer coming up, folks.
No, not at all.
I got a great group of students right now. It's kind of funny if you look at the ages. I have a couple of people in their 40s who they're realistic about where they want to go and their expectations, but also have 2 very young athletic kids, 3 young athletic kids who are very talented and have a bright future if they stick with it. One of them just turned 18 recently, and I've been working with him after he turned 18 and got licensed, of course, because I would never do that beforehand.
Right.
And he's going to be fantastic and they're brothers, so have high hopes for them. It's something I do for fun. It allows me to get a workout in during the week, a couple of times a week. In fact, we have a training session tomorrow night. We typically train on Saturdays, Thursdays, Tuesdays, whenever I'm in town. I do travel a lot, but I try to get coverage whenever I'm not there. But Big B Pro Wrestling, you can look them up on Facebook. If you have realistic expectations and think you're athletic enough and want to come wrestle, sure. If honestly, I'm just going to put this out there straight. If you're 40 years old, you're out of shape, you're out of weight, you've never picked up a weight, and you think, hey, I like wrestling, man, I want to be Hulk Hogan someday, stay your ass at home. Don't waste your time or mine.
Okay, I won't come. God.
Sorry to put it to you that way.
So you guys, do you have open enrollment for anybody that just wants to contact you guys, or is there a process they need to go through?
Waiting list or something?
Before they even try to contact you, do they need to get licensed?
They need to get licensed, and if you've never been licensed before, you need to get a Kentucky State physical. It is mandatory in Kentucky for new licensees. I don't know if that's a word. I just made that up. New licensed applicants. Look at that.
Hey.
Big terminology.
Wow.
To please get, you have to get a physical, get doctors sign off on it, and then get licensed, and then come on down. So, funny thing, I've recently become licensed in the state of Missouri, and
cool.
I had to get licensed for them, and when I took that test for their license, I had to take another physical, and their physical was in depth. It was like a military type. It was like MAPS testing.
Wow.
I had to do the duck walk. They had to take my blood pressure like 4 times, standing, sitting, laying down, and then I had to do 100 hops, and they had to take my blood pressure again. So pretty intense. And you had to get tested for Hep B, Hep C. Right. You talk about a man who held his butt cheeks tight for that long period of time. I'm not even going to lie. Because,
That's how you get Hep C, not holding your butt cheeks tight?
No, you get Hep C from toilet seats. Everybody knows that. It's no other way you can potentially... And HIV had to get tested for that. All those stuff are transmittable by toilet seats. There would be no other actions or course ways of actions that you could potentially...
But you got a clean bill of health, right? Let's go on the record as you got a clean bill of health.
I'm clean.
Good deal. I didn't want to leave him hanging and be like, ooh.
The doctor didn't have to get out the rubber mallet, so we're good. It's
just tap that back in. Alrighty then.
So to get a license in that state, you've already got to just be pretty physical. I mean, to do 100 hops,
yeah.
Most people walk in there aren't going to be able to sit there and hop 100 times without falling out.
No, and that's what I like. I think, and gosh, if the commissioner for Kentucky hears this, I'll have heat, but he'll send me a message. He's a good guy, but I think Kentucky needs to tighten theirs up a little bit too. And it's evident, and if you don't believe me, look on Facebook or go to the Kentucky Boxing Wrestling Association, look at the calendar of events, and find a random show in a town you never heard of, and then you'll pull up and watch, and you'll see exactly why they need to tighten it up, because you'll see a bunch of guys who honestly don't belong in the business. But you know, I'm all for someone living their dreams and trying it, because at one time I was out of shape and I wanted to try it. But also, you got to kind of take this serious for your sake and your opponent's sake, and
gotta be safe, man.
Yeah, and you know, can I go back to the school for a second? I had a gentleman who showed up, and he was out of shape, and he, you know, had some other students complaining because they were scared. He was dangerous to himself and to them. So, just if you're gonna do this, take it serious.
Yeah.
Now, does your school offer anything, maybe officiating, any kind of other stuff other than wrestle? Is there anyone there? What the fuck am I trying to say? Do you have officials that can train other people to become officials?
Yes.
Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yes, actually, a former Escape Pod guest, Brian
right.
McCormick.
Brian McCormick.
Sorry guys, I had to itch there.
Right.
He comes with me to train. I like a second set of eyes to tell me something. Brian's been around this business long enough that he knows what's up. But there's actually, he will train you to be a referee. Brian has past managerial experience, so he will teach you in that aspect as well. And we just want, you know, all the payments and stuff go straight to Bobby Wilson, the owner of Big B and the owner of the wrestling school. And, you know, I'm not worried about money. I make what I make, and I go on with it from that. And Bobby's not either. We're just about trying to give people an opportunity if they really want it. And if you take it serious, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to be in this business, because you never know. One guy who you look at and be like, oh, that guy doesn't have gear and do this, but man, he's decently athletic, but he's never going to go anywhere. Well, no one ever took a chance on that guy. Eventually they'll learn, and that's just it. But as long as you come in realistically and in shape, decently in shape, and the main thing is you have the heart for it, and you don't care that I give you homework, because I give all my students homework too.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go home and critique matches, watch matches, and tell me what they've seen in those matches that we've learned so far, and tell me how they can use that in future matches. And you know, some people may think that's silly, but at least I know that they're taking this shit serious outside of the 2 to 3 hour training session that we have.
No, I mean it's not just a, you don't just go out there and let's wrestle. I mean, professional wrestling, independent wrestling is it's almost an art form, because it's tactical moves, it's knowing when to be where, so that you put on a good show and you don't break somebody's neck.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Yeah, and you're never going to stop learning.
Right.
I worked out, Micah's and I, we worked out together a couple weeks ago, and I learned so much from that guy. He's very talented. I was joking earlier a little bit about some stuff, but he's very talented. I've learned from him, and he's learned from me, and that's just part of it. And one thing to keep in mind, my advice to independent wrestlers are, if you're content on working the people you're working, you're not going to amount to much. Get out and work people who are better than you, who will challenge you. I've had a terrible match. I had a terrible match with a guy named Alex Shelley, but I learned from it, and I didn't make those same mistakes twice. And that's just it. You have to learn from your mistakes. You have to work people better than you to learn, and that's that.
Cool.
That's
Any more
fantastic.
segues over there, man? You're on fire.
I got one, man. It was amazing. I came up with one. I mean, I've been practicing that thing for hours.
And it was impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
One day I'm gonna be good at this whole podcasting thing, and
Yeah, that's cool.
He's actually coming on. He's doing really well.
Actually, I'm going to give you guys a little props, both of you. I listened to the OMG Con podcast that recently dropped. Actually dropped, I believe, today or last night. Of course, there's no telling when this is
was
going
it
to air.
This aired in a couple of weeks. So
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
So a couple weeks ago.
That's right. No big deal. Episode 38 is what that was.
It was very, very entertaining. But you guys did a great job, man. You guys, the one thing that I took from that, going back from, again, taking myself more serious and my product more serious, is the way that you guys got out there. You guys went to OMG Con, and you were hustling, man. You were hustling, trying to get people to come on, getting guests, and that was impressive. And that's what you have to do in any realm, man. It doesn't matter if it's podcasting, wrestling, boxing, fighting, personal training. It doesn't matter. You have to market yourself in these independent style things, because you don't have a big money backer who's going to market yourself for you.
Right.
So I appreciate the hard work that you guys are putting into something like this podcast. You got a sweet design, sweet setup in here. you're pushing on Facebook, you're pushing on Twitter. I don't have Instagram. I'm assuming you're probably pushing on there too.
Oh yeah.
And you guys are pushing your product too. So that's why real meets real, and that's why I respect you guys for what you do too.
I appreciate it, man.
We do.
And honestly, man, I was way, way, way out of my fucking comfort zone at OMG, because I have a real bad anxiety problem with large crowds. Like, I always have to have something behind me. Like, you'll never notice, but when we go watch
I've heard that about him.
when we go watch you wrestle, that's why I'm always standing in the back, because I'm really uncomfortable with people behind me. So for me to go and sit in the lobby of the convention center here with hundreds of people around.
Hundreds and hundreds.
I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it at first. Like, I seriously just broke out sweating. Like, I looked like a fucking crackhead just sweating because I was so nervous.
To your defense, though, you were one great brony.
He definitely is that.
And that's all that fucking guy's fault right there.
Hey, you wanted a shirt, so we got you a shirt.
Well, I never thought I would wear the shirt to a convention.
Well, that's
where
your
some
own fault
creepy
again.
motherfuckers would get mad at me because I couldn't actually name the goddamn My Little Ponies on my shirt.
You couldn't name the My Little Ponies, and you weren't, taking it in the stable.
I take back everything I said about you being prepared in a professional podcast. You need to learn your My Little Ponies, okay?
Dude, I upset people. Like,
it was pretty funny.
Multiple people.
Because you were probably a cock tease to them, and then they realized that you weren't a real brony, so they probably were like, man, what a waste of time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I ruined that one guy's whole fucking weekend.
Put a bridle bit in your mouth, mister. Anyway, so thank you. I appreciate the comment, but seriously, Tony he's come a long way, and he said he was like, but he was professional and it was great, and I mean, like I said, love this guy because we got together and do a podcast because we started talking one day in the break room. It was like, well, I like doing this, and I used to do this, and I used to be in radio, and he used to do a magazine, and it was just like, we should try this together, and it's worked out, because like wrestling, he knows wrestling. I know a lot of other shit, but he knows wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Wrestling too.
A little bit, but nothing
just
like you
the
guys
old
do.
Black and Gray days when Vern Gagne was in his little trunks and shit.
Stop that. Hey, speaking of the old days, I noticed that I'm taking it all back. So right, exactly. So I noticed that you have another show coming up in July that has some names that were former superstars for the WWE, like Rob Conway and Carlito, and man, that's awesome. That's gonna be a big show.
Someone owes us a beer. Phone going off at the podcast.
I believe that'd be you.
Nope.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
That's all right.
Facebook gets you every time.
It does.
Speaking of Facebook, you can look me up at Jonathan Huff or Scott Sexton. And you can also go like my Facebook page, The Narrator, The Neckbreaker, Superb Scott Sexton. Hashtag Hype Train Derailer. Hashtag Gold Digger. Hashtag Narrator, The Neckbreaker. Hashtag Superb.
Who the hell's that other guy you said?
You know what? That's what my Facebook's under. That's the...
Hey, drink.
Yeah. I'm down 2 now. So yeah, back to the it's UPW, the Great American Clash, I believe is the name of it. July 15th. Please tell me that's a Saturday.
I think so.
Okay. I'm terrible with dates.
That's all right.
They'll
figure it out.
That's why I was single so long.
They'll figure it out.
But no, July 15th, United Pro Wrestling. It's a one-night tournament to crown the first heavyweight champion. And, Vegas has me as the odds-on favorite right now, riding my undefeated streak. I've defeated about 4 or 5 individuals, dropped them on their neck, picked up the win, and as of right now, it's myself, the Iron Man Rob Conway, who's former WWE Tag Team Champion and current NWA World Tag Team Champion, former WWE Intercontinental Champion Carlito. If you don't remember him, look him up on the WWE Network for only $9.99 a month. A gentleman by the name of Teddy King. He's one of the top talents around this area. Our paths have rarely crossed. I don't know. We might be civil one day and we might not the next, but No hard feelings on my end, but I respect him. He's a great guy, and in fact, I can't wait to add him to my win list. So he'll be in that tournament. So there's 4, and counting myself, and there's going to be 4 more. And it's going to be a big show. There's going to be a tag title defense on that show. There's going to be some other big matches. In fact, they're doing like VIP packages that includes an opportunity to win a UPW gift basket, which has like a T-shirt, a gift card, etc. It's going to be the biggest show to date, Saturday night, July 15th in Bowling Green at the National Guard Armory. Any fan of wrestling should come out. You're going to get to see superstars of yesterday and today. And, man, I'm very, very excited about that. I'm excited to drop 7 other dudes on their head and walk out, with another belt, because the more belts you have, the more money you have. The more money you have, well, the happier the wife is. The happier the wife is, the more you can get out of the house and do more of it. So
there you go. There you go.
Well, it looks like you guys are going to have some live music, too, from a band called Gravel Switch.
Yes. Thank you for putting that over. I knew they were working on a band. I didn't know they had one. So
awesome.
The technology of he's stepping up his game
He
again.
is all over, man.
Man, it's cool.
And you know what? We're going to have all these links in the show notes on our website at outbreakpodcast.com. And then, of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, it's going to be in the description on the YouTube channel as well. So you'll be able to just scroll down and get all
YouTube, right? You said YouTube.
YouTube.
Okay,
YouTube.
Just making sure. Not
YouTube.
with a T, not a P. That follows the U.
Okay, it's time to get him out of here. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
and UPW's got a free-for-all show going on.
They do have a free-for-all, which will be it will be before this podcast airs. That's actually next Friday night. I'm wrestling Lincoln Mainstream Mosley, an old rival of mine. Yeah, that guy's back. Who would have thunk it?
They used to be envious, but
They're
not anymore.
Now only he is of me. So I'll get to drop him on his neck. The only thing better than beating somebody you don't know is when you get to drop an old rival on their neck. So 2017 has definitely been very successful for the Narrator, the neck breaker. I will say I was supposed to wrestle Doug Gilbert a few weeks ago in a rematch. Doug had defeated me by hitting me with a chain. I know we're going a little off topic here, but
that's all right.
Doug then decided he wanted to not show up for the show because that's real professional. But, Doug Gilbert, which kind of makes me sad because, growing up I loved his brother and I like Doug too, but I was a little disappointed. He stated his reasons that he didn't want to be there. And, it is what it is. I'm not going to bash him for that. But, guys, again, more independent wrestler advice. If you're booked for a show, fulfill your commitments. I don't care if you've been doing this a year or 30 years. If you're booked for a show, the promoter's counting on you. If your face is on the poster real big, fulfill your commitments. Reach down, grab your sack, get your ass to the show.
Because that really sucks, man. Because especially if you're a fan and you're driving any distance specifically to see one person, and shit happens and they might not show up, but if they could show up and they just dicked around and didn't, that sucks, man. Not being able to see somebody wrestle that, somebody like him who's been around forever, and that might be the only chance that fan's ever going to get to see him because he's on the card, and then that person doesn't show up. That's shitty.
We live in a world right now where stuff is so busy. Who knows? There could have been a fan who had a free night, and that was their only free night to see him, and he didn't show up. And I hate it more for the promoter too, because the promoter, has to come out and try to explain to the fans, and some fans are going to understand, and some fans aren't.
Yeah, some fans blame them, like, oh, you just promoted them, and they weren't ever really going to be here.
Exactly.
That's horrible.
And then you could lose those fans before the next show.
Yep.
And all because one guy decided he wanted to be that he didn't want to show up.
Right.
There we go. Stay politically correct.
Because he didn't want to take the wrath of Scott Sexton.
Yep. So we'll stay politically correct there. But I've been. I want to touch base back to April 15th. I was on a huge show here in Owensboro at the Sports Center, which everyone in this room and everyone hopefully that listens knows the significance of the Owensboro Sports Center.
Oh yeah, it's
in
big.
regards to anything. That's Owensboro's Madison Square Garden. If Madison Square Garden was full of bugs, but that's Owensboro's Madison Square Garden, and but it is a huge venue. It's a great venue, and
Without a bad seat in the house.
No, there's not.
You can be in the rafters, man, and it's still awesome.
Exactly. And what was cool about it is I went there as a kid on a pretty consistent basis to watch USWA. In fact, to watch Doug Gilbert and Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, and PG-13 and those guys. And then WWF even ran a house show one time there in 1993 or 94. And to be able to say that I wrestled in that same building as stars like Lex Luger, Jerry Lawler, Jeff Jarrett. Of course, I've beat Jeff Jarrett before, so that was kind of cool.
You actually have, yeah.
And all that stuff. It was really surreal. So that was by far the coolest experience to be able to do it in my hometown. And that was cool. So I can't wait till September 16th when UCW Pro returns. And everyone, please check their Facebook page out. I will tell you, there are some huge announcements. It's just right now some things are going a little slower. Some of the processes are. But when you guys hear the names that we have coming in for September 16th, and it's going to be a very, very impressive lineup. Already announced, Al Snow, Chase Stevens, Mike Mikas, New Japan Pro Wrestling and Bullet Club superstar Chase Owens, and also a meet and greet with Road Warrior Animal
That's awesome.
of the historic tag team, probably either one or two, the greatest tag team of all time. So,
He's a beast too, man.
So
beast.
I'm
Awesome.
very, very excited about
That's
that.
kind of a birthday show for me too, man, because it's right around my birthday. So I'm super stoked.
Well,
for
happy
that.
birthday,
Happy
Tony. We're
birthday.
going.
And, I'd like to work out something. I was talking to David Anthony here about work out something where we could potentially do some live podcasting at the event, maybe have the fans ask questions. So that's something maybe we can work with. I'll see if I can play the middleman and get both companies on board and see, because it would be a win-win.
We would
for
love
all.
to do it. We
That'd be
would love to
super
do
cool.
it. Set up a little bit, and maybe before the show, maybe a few things in between some matches, and just take a few minutes, go live on YouTube and things like that, and do some interviewing, or at least talk about what the show is and get everybody to come down, because I think it'd be awesome.
You might get to see me do my imitation of draws, because I'm sure I'll be so anxious that I'll puke.
Sweet.
I thought he meant because he was going to drink so much because it was his birthday.
Hey, well, that too. That too. We'll have a few beers and he'll be settled down nice and easy peasy.
How about
Maybe.
Tony Brown, man? You pretty much, you've been leaning up.
I
Been
got
killing it.
fat again, and then now it's
Yeah, your
coming
wife
back
told me
off.
that.
Yeah.
You just got back from the gym. You worked there for the last hour, and you come in all sweaty and
It's-
like,
It's coming back off. I just
you're the man.
So this is, I know you can edit this, but
Oh, no, we're
weren't you going to the gym with him?
I was for a while, yeah, and then I got injured. Man, it was a football injury. It was old. It was terrible, but yeah,
Old football injury.
old football injury.
I feel like I'm
yeah.
watching Married with Children right now.
You are. Would you like to buy some shoes from Al? Alrighty then. Well, give us a quick rundown.
football on Xbox doesn't count, dude.
Damn it, Tony, you weren't supposed to tell. These calluses hurt. It's hard to lift weights with gamer calluses.
Yeah, like that's from the Xbox.
But yeah, I pulled a little bit of the,
Well, at least I got a grip on something.
pulled a little bit of the fat back off my gut. I kind of got in a rough spot, and that old demon craft beer got a hold of me and kept throwing them back when I shouldn't have. And next thing you know, hey, I put all my weight back on that I worked so hard to take off.
But
You
you're
gotta
back on it
get
now,
in shape.
right? Yeah.
You get back
easy.
at it.
You
Yeah.
got it.
Exactly. All right, so Scott, tell everybody how they can check you out on your social media.
Well, I don't have Instagram. I'm debating on it, but I'm afraid, honestly, it'd get me in trouble.
Not
Same
any
thing
more
with
trouble than
Snapchat.
Tinder does.
Well, don't have that either. So, thankfully.
So you're on Twitter, right?
I am on Twitter, not Tinder. I'm on Twitter at Superb Hill. Please don't call it at Super B Hill. That's SUPERBHEEL.
He beat me to it.
Give me
He
a
did.
like. Give me a follow. Give me a retweet. You
Nice.
can also find me on Facebook under Scott Sexton. You can like my fan page, the narrator of the Neckbreaker, Superb Scott Sexton. You can give me a call at.
No.
Whoa.
Come on,
Whoa.
guys. Come on now. No.
I can't do that.
We'll
Enough
put
crazy
that-
people already have my number.
We'll
You
put
know-
that in the show notes later.
I got his number today. He texted me. What a silly man.
What's funny is he gave me his number, so now I kind of feel depleted. He's given me his number before, and I've
he
had it,
keeps
and he was in my
deleting it.
phone, and he keeps deleting it. I know. I'm very
Keep deleting
heartbroken.
it is what it is.
No, it was under. I actually sent him a text not too long ago.
Breaking my heart.
Let's see. Check out my sponsors, Scarlet and Graves.
Yes.
Definitely everyone go out there, buy some sweet apparel. Maybe if you're lucky, if you're planning on doing a purchase, let me know, and I will. I'll talk to the great founders of the product and see if I can get you guys a discount code, get you guys a little percentage off. Some Karma Fitness Water. Highly recommend that as well. Check out Escape Pod, which we're on, so obviously you are checking it out. So that was about the worst marketing tool I've ever used. Come check me out at Big B Pro Wrestling every 2 weeks. In fact, they're having a show tonight randomly in the middle of the week. It's called Girl Fight.
Very cool.
They're partnering with Madman Pondo, and they're bringing in like Leva Bates and a few of these women who are top women wrestlers from around
I think Mickey
United
Knuckles
States.
is going to be there.
Mickey Knuckles, Amazing Maria, Rudy Jordan, Sage Sin, some pretty big women names. So they're actually doing that tonight. So hopefully that show was a success.
Awesome.
Check out United Pro Wrestling. Check them out on Facebook and Twitter. Check out Universal Championship Wrestling. I'm also doing a lot of random shows. It's fair season, so I've been doing a lot of fair shows for companies I typically wouldn't work for, but just doing kind of what's called spot shows, one-off shows, and going in and enjoying those guys as well. So please follow me for my schedule of events. I try to stay pretty busy. I'm honored. I'm blessed to be able to get back into this. I didn't think there was a time that I was going to be able to do. The old body's working again real well for me. I'm down to the smallest I've been probably in 15 years. Legally, believe it or not. Legally.
And you know what? And you got a lot of support from friends, family, and it's pretty awesome. And I know that really means a lot.
That goes a long way. You have no idea. And I cannot. I've hit on it before, but my wife, man, she is the only woman I've ever been with who supports this crazy thing that I do.
She is a rock.
It helps. So, like me, I'm a pretty cool dude. I like random ass music. I like ICP. I like Ghost. I like Metallica. I like Drake. I mean, my music taste goes up and down and all around.
But
so.
never leaves the shit level for some reason.
Oh, wow.
That's cool, man. I appreciate that. So for all you juggalos out there, you can find him at Tony Brown and Escape Pod to please send your hate mail to. But no, man, I'm down with the clown always. So
Juggalos love me. I'm safe. I'm a technician, so I'm okay.
Random thing, I will tell you this. A buddy of mine found a little short clip. Just look up JCW on YouTube, and there's a picture of Violent J giving me a Stone Cold Stunner from a few years back. So go check that out. So you may not be a fan of his work in the studio, but be a fan of his work in the ring. Plus, man, he's got a sweet ass painted face. Come on.
I like ICP.
Yeah, you should. Look at him. He's scared. He's
Any
scared. Of the
fan that will, any band that has fans that will throw cups of piss on wrestlers they don't like, you gotta enjoy that.
Been there, done that.
Skip that show. We've heard about that story before.
Yeah.
I think it was episode 1. And
I popped your cherry.
You did. And this is going to be episode 40 of Escape Pod.
But you know what
Thanks,
you haven't
Scott
done yet?
Sexton,
Wait.
What we got?
He hasn't rubbed the table yet.
Oh, you got to touch the table. There you go. Suede.
Wow.
See?
Wow. Look at you, big time. Man. Is there money in this podcast and stuff?
And you know what? We decided we were going to step it up, so we built this. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you got there
some saws, some beer. And
can the next one you build, can you make a place for my gallon?
We'll try and get a. It's not big enough for that, is it? There you go.
Get that a lot too.
Fits a beer bottle. Alrighty then.
They have these smaller containers, that you can carry water around in.
Sorry,
they don't have the caveman.
I'm always packing around something bigger than you, Tony. I apologize.
And on that note, thank you for listening to this episode of Escape Pod. Thanks, Scott Sexton. We really appreciate you being here.
Next match, motherfucker.
So
nice
much
seeing
love.
You again.
We're out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Escape Pod. If you enjoyed it, please like the episode and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you would like to be a part of future podcasts, then email us at outbreakpodcast@gmail.com. And be sure to visit our website, outbreakpodcast.com, for more episodes, show notes, photos, and other podcasts on the Outbreak Podcasting Network. That's outbreakpodcast.com.